Sports. We are Black. We are Wisconsin.
From Miller Park, good day for tailgating and a good night for baseball. Game 3 of this 4-game series as the Milwaukee Brewers take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Willie Peralta in search of his first win this season against Joe Whelan, making his Dodgers debut and just the 8th start of his career. Good evening. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Matt LePay. Sophia Minert is our reporter tonight. And Rock, you see the record with Peralta 0-4, and I know it's a cliche, but I think it's true to say it's a deceiving record. He deserves better, I think you could say, especially the last couple of outings. He's pitched very, very well.
Yeah, last 2 starts, he's only allowed 3 runs, but 0-2 in that stretch. And really, when you look at Willie's season so far this year, he's only had 1 bad start. It was a 6-1 loss here at Miller Park against the Cincinnati Reds. The problem that Willie has had this year, not so much he on the mound, but run support. The Brewers have only scored 6 runs in Willie's 4 losses this year, including a 1-0 shutout to the Cubs at Wrigley Field. He's been giving up a few more hits this year, but been able to limit the damage. Minimizing the damage is what he's been able to do.
All right, looking for win number 1 tonight is the right-hander Willie Peralta. Won 17 games a year ago. Well, you know about Kershaw, you know about Greinke. You may not know a whole lot about Joe Whelan. There's a reason for that. Injury plague, but making his Dodgers debut tonight. Craig and Augie will have more on him as we continue on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Welcome back to the broadcast inside Miller Park. Roof and panels all closed up, hopefully for the final time. It's supposed to be a nice warm day tomorrow to open things up. Cool just in the Milwaukee area here today. Brewers looking to get the third game and take a 2-1 lead in this 4-game series. Augie and I are going to get you set for who they face tonight, and that's Joe Whelan. And really, Ryan Braun's the guy that's probably the most familiar with him. Back in 2012, hit a couple of home runs against him, but shortly thereafter, Whelan underwent Tommy John surgery, so he's trying to make his way back to the majors.
Yeah, and he's changed himself around, but he has all the pitches. And when you look at Joe Whelan, his primary pitches are, he's got a good sinking fastball, he's got a good 12-6 curveball, and he utilizes the change very well. This guy has all the pitches, but those are his primary pitches. Secondly, what he'll do is he's in command. He has very good control. He is a strike thrower. Throw the ball, good location. He will come right after you. And lastly, and most importantly, he has great mound presence for a young guy. Good composure. Really aimed at throwing the ball to the plate. He has that good focus, and he'll come right after you.
Well, he makes his Dodger debut here today, called up from AAA to start in this game here tonight. Tonight, though, the focus on Willie Peralta, looking for win number 1. It's got to come in game number 6. Enjoy it. It's coming up next.
Mound, looking for win number 1 and looking for the Brewers to start another streak. 3-game run snapped last night. Looking to get it back on track here tonight. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Have the roof closed here tonight, but as Craig mentioned, may be able to open it up tomorrow for the series finale tomorrow afternoon, but going to keep it tight and closed up here tonight. So perfect conditions for baseball here at Miller Park. Don Mattingly, Donnie Baseball, 300 career hitter for those who remember, a 9-time Gold Glove winner, has his team in first place with 17-9 record in the National League West. Here is Mattingly's batting order presented by Potawatomi. Jock Peterson, Jimmy Rollins, and Howie Kendrick at the top. Adrian Gonzalez, who launched one last night. Justin Turner also homered. Andre Ethier hitting 6th. Scott Van Slyke, A.J. Ellis, and Joe Whelan rounding out the batting order against Willie Peralta.
Yeah, still looking for his first win of the season. 0-4, but really he's pitched well in just about every one of his starts except one. That was a start here against the Reds a couple of starts ago. He gave up 6 runs, but other than that, very good. Making start number 4 against L.A. 2-1 career. He was 1-0 last year. Let's check out the Menards Brewers defense. Davis, Gomez, and Braun in the outfield. Ramirez, Segura, Jeanette, and Lynn from third to first, and Martin Maldonado continues to get the lion's share of the work behind home plate.
Your umpires tonight here at Miller Park. Jordan Baker on balls and strikes. Andy Fletcher at first. Jerry Meals is the crew chief. And Paul Emmel over at third. Game 3 of 4. Brewers in dramatic fashion winning on Monday night. Come from behind efforts. And last night a good pitching duel was unfolding. And then the Dodgers broke through a 3-run 6th, a 4-run 7th. Home runs. The big storyline for the Dodgers, not just last night, but throughout the first month of this season. They have 42 to lead the big leagues. So we are ready to roll. Jock Peterson, rookie center fielder, leads things off. And the first pitch from Peralta. A fastball missing, and we are underway here in Milwaukee. Home run power that the Dodgers have. Peterson a big part of it with 7 home runs, including 2 at the leadoff spot, which he's had for about a week now in this Dodger batting order.
Yep, hitless last night, but walked a couple of times. Dodgers able to put up some runs in yesterday's ball game using a long ball.
And Peralta throwing the heat is ahead of ball 2 strikes. Peterson with the 7 home runs. He is among the league leaders in slugging percentage. He has been a good fit at the top of this batting order for Don Mattingly's team. Peralta with the 1-2, and that is strike 3 swinging, and that's a real good start for Willie Peralta.
Yeah, good velocity, 96 miles an hour up in the strike zone. Peterson struck out a couple of times last night, and that's a tough pitch to get on top of. That big fastball up above the letters.
Well, Peralta, the 17-game winner a year ago, but went through a 4-game losing streak last season and then followed that up by winning 5 consecutive decisions. Here's Jimmy Rollins. Mentioned that home run power that the Dodgers had last night. Rollins, who has shown in his terrific career the capability to hit the ball deep. Hit a 2-run shot last night. Dodgers in all had 3 homers in the game. There's a ground ball to Jeanette, and quickly 2 out here in the first.
The Dodgers this year are doing a lot of their scoring with the home run ball. Used to be a team that would advance base runners, that could steal bases, but that's really not the case this year. Don Mattingly has these guys swinging for the fences, as George Bamberger used to say.
Yeah, especially with that guy who was on deck, Adrian Gonzalez, who was among those that go deep. Here's Howie Kendrick with 2 out. Rock mentioned Peralta, a winner in his 1 start against the Dodgers a year ago. That was on August 17th. 6 innings of shutout baseball. Surrendered just 5 hits.
Well, he's coming out throwing well. Good velocity, good location. Well, giving up a few more hits than he did last year when you talk about innings pitched. 40 hits, 31 innings so far this year, but really has been able to minimize the damage, getting himself out of some jams this year.
Yeah, he has been involved in some pitching duels. Last outing gave up just the 1 run, an Addison Russell homer, and that was enough. The Cubs took that series opener last Friday at Wrigley Field. But you could state the case that he could have, with just a little bit of good fortune, a couple of wins, maybe 3. No decision in his first start of the year against the Rockies. 7 innings, gave up just a couple of runs. Game that went into extra innings, and the Rockies ended up winning. 2-2 to Howie Kendrick.
But all about run support for Willie. Right now, the Brewers, in his 4 losses, only 6 runs on the board for him.
Here's the 2-2. And a good first inning for Willie Peralta as Kendrick goes down swinging. Through a half here at Miller Park. the Brewers getting ready to hit for the first time. Craig Counsell, game number 3 for him as the Brewers manager. 1 up and 1 down so far. Here's the Brewers batting order presented by Potawatomi. Carlos Gomez, Scooter Gennett, Ryan Braun at the top. Adam Lind hits cleanup, followed by Aramis Ramirez and Chris Davis. Gene Segura hits 7th. Martin Maldonado 8th. Willie Peralta rounds it out against Joe Whelan, making career start number 8 in the big leagues.
Yeah, the Brewers have seen him before when he was a member of the San Diego Padres. Coming up for the minor leagues. Good numbers for him. 3-0, a 360 earned run average. He's only allowed the 1 home run. That's because of that good 2-seam fastball.
He is the 9th starting pitcher for the Dodgers already this season, a month into it. Outside of Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke, it's been a lot of mix and matching, a lot of shuttling between AAA and the big league club. And Whelan quickly out in front of Carlos Gomez, 0-2.
Not a guy that messes around. At least he wasn't in the minor leagues. 2 walks, 22 punch-outs. Likes to throw strikes, get ahead in the count.
And Gomez on 0-2 with a base hit to right. Start to the home half of the first for Milwaukee.
Yeah, Dodger defense has been good so far this year. Tied for 4th in the National League in fielding percentage. Defense brought to you by Menards. Van Slyke, Peterson, and Ethier in the outfield. You got Justin Turner at 3rd tonight. Jimmy Rollins, Howie Kendrick up the middle. Adrian Gonzalez at 1st. And A.J. Ellis behind home plate.
Resides in Franklin, Wisconsin. Does Ellis. Gomez a leadoff single. And for the Brewers, they get their first shot at Joe Whelan here tonight. Here's Scooter Gennett hitting 2nd for the first time this season. It's his 2nd game back from the disabled list. Had a hit last night. And now squares off against Whelan. As Rock mentioned, pitched for the Padres in 2012 and then had to undergo Tommy John surgery and missed all of 2013. Made it back last year. Did not pitch a lot. In fact, just a handful of starts. Then he was part of that trade, the big trade with the Padres that involved Matt Kemp and also brought Yasmani Grandal to the Dodgers. His major league debut, as a matter of fact, came against the Dodgers in April of 2012 and got knocked around quite a bit.
You know, all the pitchers, the starting pitchers the Dodgers have used, they're still in first place.
Yeah, it says a lot.
Yeah, it does. It says a lot about their offense.
It does. And as you mentioned last night, when you have that 1-2 punch of Kershaw and Greinke, that should offer relief for the relievers, if you will. It could give that bullpen a little bit of a break as you look at those two. And boy, how good was Zach Greinke last night?
Yeah,
just terrific.
Yeah, something. All of his pitches working for him, able to manage his pitch count pretty well. And he hit a double.
With a bat flip to go along with it. He was on his game. 2-1 pitch coming to Scooter Gennett. Trying to get him going here. And of course, the fact that he's healthy again is step number 1. And hopefully, for the sake of Scooter Gennett, he can stay healthy and get that batting average up where he knows it can be. He had 289 last year. 212 to begin tonight's game. Gomez on the move. Gennett swings, hits it well, right center field, and that is gone. Scooter Gennett is back, and the Brewers grab the early lead.
Oh, there you go. There's some runs for Willie. Who said he didn't get any runs? Well, Scooter Gennett on a 3-1 pitch. Middle in, straight as a string, and he puts a pretty good swing on it. Carlos Gomez is on the move. Number 1 for Scooter. Giving the Brewers a 2-0 lead. Boy, that looks good up there on the scoreboard. An early lead for the Crew.
Yes, sir. His first homer since last August. August 23rd, as a matter of fact. Here's Ryan Braun, who knows Joe Whelan a little bit. To that game 3 years ago in San Diego. He treated Whelan very rudely.
Yeah, 2 of his 3 home runs that game in San Diego against Wheeling. A 3-homer game for Brawny in San Diego. Not an easy thing to do in that ballpark.
And you see Ryan in this series with just 1 hit, but has 5 homers, 4 on the last road trip. Breaking ball misses, and it's 3-1. Good start here for the Crew. A leadoff single from Carlos Gomez and a 2-run homer off the bat of Scooter Gennett. And Braun is on. Those 3 have reached for Milwaukee in the first. As Rock said, Wheeling just at AAA was throwing a lot of strikes. 22 Ks, just 3 walks, but he remembers Ryan Braun from 3 years ago.
Yeah,
careful
right.
with him and walks him.
Wasn't going to give him much to hit, was he?
No.
Not overpowering. He throws 90, 91, maybe 92 if he cranks it up a little bit. Relies on movement. 2 different breaking pitches and a changeup.
Here's Adam Lind, a .315 average for Lind here to begin the night. Take a look at our T-Mobile game changer, and he has been awfully good as you look at those the overall numbers, and now specifically the last dozen games showing the power, and look, hitting .368 and playing good defense as well.
It's certainly been probably the most consistent bat on that in that lineup from Milwaukee so far.
Those are the numbers that back that up.
Been a nice addition. Some solid work over at first base. Something the Brewers were having a difficult time with last year.
Good all-around productivity in this first month out of Adam Lind. And there's a drive down the line. It's going to hook foul. The Brewers jumping on Joe Wheeland here in the first inning.
He went down and got a curveball that time, and just a little bit out in front.
He's 25 years old, Wheeland, originally drafted by the Rangers in the 4th round back in 2008. Was traded to the Padres. Mike Adams, the one-time Brewer, was involved in that swap. And traded from San Diego to the Dodgers last December. And the word is he feels finally at full strength after Tommy John surgery a couple of years back, and he's hoping to stay around. There's been some one-and-dones in his Dodger pitching rotation as Lind holds up. As there's been a little shuttle between the Dodgers and their AAA affiliate in Oklahoma City.
Man, 9 different guys have made starts. That's a lot for this early in the season, especially for a first-place team.
Yeah, that's the thing. They have certainly survived all of that with the offensive firepower. Here's Adam Lind with a fly ball to right field, and going back at the wall, gone! Ethier ran out of room, and Adam Lind goes downtown, and the Brewers have jumped all over Wheeland in the first.
They get the home run bats out, and the Brewers score runs, and that's what they've done so far. I think Lind's actually surprised that ball left the ballpark. The shortest part of the ballpark here at Miller Park. Check it out. He's got to stop it first so he doesn't touch or pass Ryan Braun. So that ball just makes it over the fence out there and right.
The fan with the cap just missed it. So an early conversation is necessary as Wheeland has given up a couple of big flies. One to Gennett and one to Adam Lind.
Wheeland's thinking, why aren't we at Dodger Stadium? That would have been an out. Not here at Miller Park.
He has yet to retire a hitter. Now here's Aramis Ramirez.
Yeah, Willie's already got more runs today than he has in his last 2 starts.
And as you mentioned a few minutes ago, just the 6 runs total in his 4 losses. So they're already in hot pursuit of matching that total. Peralta set the Dodgers down in order, striking out 2 in the top half of this inning. Ramirez turns on 1, but that'll be a foul ball. This is a team in attack mode in this first inning. Brewers have already matched their hit total from last night and obviously have surpassed the run total. Managed only 3 hits against Dodgers pitching last night. Here's the 1-2. Zach Greinke went 7 2/3. Pedro Baez, Daniel Colomé, who was sent back, by the way, as the Dodgers had to make their roster move. Sent back to AAA. Ramirez, liner to left, and Schleich the catch, and there's the first out of the inning.
And the Dodgers are now down to 8 relievers in their bullpen. We might see a few of them tonight if Wheeler doesn't straighten things out. That's the advantage of having guys like Kershaw and Greinke, right?
Without a
Rest your
doubt.
bullpen back-to-back days, and your bullpen actually needs some work after those 2 guys do their thing.
Brewers were actually able to get to the pen a little bit on Monday night after getting to Kershaw and rallying to win that game after trailing 3-0. The Dodger bullpen went through a stretch of 26 straight scoreless innings until Monday. And that's Chris Hatcher. Kershaw denied his 100th career victory on Monday night with that Brewer comeback. Chris Davis trying to get going again.
Yeah, it started out really well, but all of a sudden last week or so having a difficult time staying back. Well, early in the season just driving everything up the middle into the opposite field, and he's got to get back to that swing.
Comes in 0 for his last 15. As Craig Counsell was telling reporters yesterday, a guy like him, when he can heat up, he can carry an offense. And Davis works him for a walk, and that's a second walk given up by Wheeland here in the first.
Yeah, Craig Counsell gave him yesterday off. Had Gerardo Parra out and left.
Don Mattingly watching his pitchers struggle mightily here in the first. There's Gene Segura. His second game back after taking a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to the helmet on Sunday at Wrigley Field. Kept him out Monday night, but back in there last night. There's a ground ball to short, and that is a force at second, but unable to dig out the throw. Gonzalez at first. 2 men out. Segura, the runner, over at first.
Yeah, about as routine a double play as you can have, and it's not a very good throw by Howie Kendrick in the dirt. Yeah, a couple of hops, and looked like it was going to be a routine double play. That's a tough handle for Gonzalez, that in between hop.
It's a much improved Dodger defense, as Rock mentioned a couple of minutes ago, and figure with that double play combo, that's a surefire double play. Runner going, pitch taken, throw to second, not in time. Gene Segura, his 6th stolen base of the year.
Yeah, good to see him running effectively again this year. He got thrown out quite a bit a year ago, but off to a good start in stealing bases, just able to beat the throw.
A.J. Ellis had thrown out 5 of 7. But unable to nab Gene Segura.
Yeah, Segura now 6 for 7.
So a runner in scoring position for Martin Maldonado. He's behind 0-2. He continues to get the work while Jonathan Lucroy continues to recover from the broken toe. And there's a base hit to right field. That's going to score Segura, and it's a 5-run first for Milwaukee.
And another 0-2 base hit. Carlos Gomez started things off with a 0-2 single to right, and here's Maldonado doing the same. Getting too much of the plate is Wheeland, and good job by Maldonado taking it to right. Picking up Segura after he stole a base.
This is the first time that the Dodgers have allowed 5 runs in a single inning this year. Ninth man to hit, Willie Peralta. And he'll lift one right field, and that will be a foul ball. A great first inning here for the Crew. There's Willie Peralta, who has, we've talked about it in Brewers Live pregame and here early tonight, has had very little in the way of run support. He's had a whole lot of it in the first inning. Curve misses, 1-1 the count.
He's going to get a hold of one of those sometime. It's one of those big hacks.
It's going to go a long way too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. He does it in batting practice.
The 1-2. Wheelan has walked a couple in this inning. Brewers have gone deep on him twice. A rude welcome to Miller Park for Joe Wheelan. 25 years old, from Reno, Nevada. Curve is upstairs. And he's run the count full to the Brewers pitcher. The 3-2. What a big cut. Does not get a hold of it, but a great first frame for the home team as they do not mess around. Scooter Jeanette with a 2-run homer. And then Adam Lind, a couple of hitters later, follows it with a 2-run bomb. And it's 5-0 Milwaukee after 1.
Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Willie Peralta back to work here in the second inning, and he's looking for his first win of the season, finding himself in a new position here, pitching with a lead, the 5 spot for the Brewers in the first. And Willie Peralta, over his last 2 starts, has allowed just 3 runs, but has been the tough luck pitcher for the Brewers as he has received 0 runs of support coming into this game over his last 19 innings. So that 0.87 run support, the lowest in all of baseball for qualifying starters. But Willie Peralta said yesterday, you just need to set all of that aside. He said, all I can do is focus on my job, and I have to focus, each inning, putting up zeros, taking care of my job on the mound, going for a quality start each time I take the mound to give our team a chance to win. He said, I have to set aside all of the stuff with the offense. So finding himself pitching with a lead here for the first time this season.
Saying all the right things, but I mean, you know that when he's not getting runs, I mean, margin for error very slim. So when pitchers aren't getting a lot of runs, they figure, 1 or 2 runs are going to cost them a game, and it did in Chicago.
Adrian Gonzalez leading off the second inning.
You always feel as though you have to make the perfect pitch. You walk a guy and you start getting behind when you're trying to catch the corners, when you know that 2 or 3 runs and you get another L hung on you.
Well, I saw it last night. Matt Garza pitched well, and there was, in essence, you could say it came down to one mistake, and Justin Turner jumped on it, a 3-run homer, and that was all the Dodgers needed. But they added 4 more in the 7th and another in the 9th, en route to the 8-2 victory. Garza pitched certainly well enough to keep his team in the game. Adrian Gonzalez. But you need to be careful with him. They've walked him 5 times in this series, but that was a blast. Looked like he was going to hit his own photo, video board in center. I mean, he crushed it. And that's well struck to center field, a base hit.
Where he hits them, they stay hit. 97-mile-an-hour fastball on a 1-2 count, and he hits it like a laser beam into center field. Watch the swing, just nice and easy, not trying to do too much. Ball just jumps off his bat. He's dialed in right now.
Comes in with a .361 average, 3rd best in the National League. There's the power and also a terrific average. Here's Justin Turner. One of 3 Dodgers to homer, and his long ball gave his team the lead for good. Turner has homered 4 times in his last 6 games. 3 hits and 4 trips to the plate last night, so he's right back in there at 3rd.
2 guys that Don Mattingly uses at 3rd base, both right-handed batters, but he's got to keep them both in the lineup because they both can hit.
Turner picking up where he left off a year ago, so Mattingly with options available. Actually, the options are all hot. Juan Uribe has a 13-game hitting streak, but not in the lineup again tonight. So those type of offensive numbers allow you to lead the West by 3.5 games, despite the fact that you're using your 9th starting pitcher of the season tonight in Joe Whelan. It's the 1-1.
Yeah, 9th starting pitcher, but they're 4th in the National League in team earned run average. So the guys they're bringing up are getting the job done.
Yeah, they make it work. And with that much improved bullpen from a year ago, and they're without their closer still, Kenley Jansen, closer and closer to returning. Turner to left field, that's going to fall. Davis near the line, and the Dodgers have runners at 1st and 2nd to begin the 2nd inning.
Another big fastball, so these Dodger hitters can handle the big heater. 96 on that last fastball. Adrian Gonzalez hit one at 97. Going to be important for Peralta to start mixing in that breaking pitch. Curveballs, sliders. He's had a pretty good changeup lately. Going to have to break him out.
Here's Andre Ethier, who was hitless last night in 5 trips. Still a good .292 average. And Peralta continues with the heat and misses. Dodgers with the win last night, now 4-7 on the road. They've been dominant at Dodger Stadium, winning 13 of their 15 games. Fastballs continue from Peralta. Dodgers jumped on Joe Whelan in the first. Couple of home runs. RBI single from Martin Maldonado. The Dodgers have the first two aboard here in the second. Adam Lind, shortest part of the park, cleared the wall in right. And Scooter Gennett, maybe rounded into form. You hope hit his first home run of the year here this evening. Ball, 2 strikes to Andre Ethier. Game 3 of 4. They'll wrap it up tomorrow afternoon at Miller Park, and then the Cubs come to town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, followed by the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, nice 10-game homestand for the Brewers. Opportunity to get healthy again. Get some wins on the board, some home cooking.
And some continuity, you hope. And now, lineups will still change, and that's been very much the case with this Brewers team. But as it is closer to the team it was, or the lineup it was breaking camp, Lucroy the obvious exception, the hope is they can get a little rhythm going here. And that is strike 3 called. Yep, Ethier not agreeing, but he is out on strikes.
I think he was more hoping that wasn't going to be called.
Jordan Baker not having it. Home plate umpire.
Yeah, Jordan Baker, 6'7". And right on the edge. And Willie gets a call. Tallest umpire in baseball. I wouldn't mess with him.
You have to look up to him, yes. Here's Scott Van Slyke.
You got to figure he's a good high ball umpire, right? Like the hot pitch.
You would think. So he'll give you that one. A definite presence out there. Adrian Gonzalez and Justin Turner with back-to-back singles to start the inning. And Jordan Baker ringing up Andre Ethier a moment ago for the first out. Here comes the 0-1 from Willie Peralta. On a hop, Segura should be 2. It will be 2. 6-4-3. And Peralta works out of trouble. First 2 Dodgers reach. But the Brewers turn it back and lead by 5. Bottom of the second in Miller Park. Brewers off to a terrific start. There's 5-0. Here's Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Scooter Gennett getting things started. 2-run homer, his first long ball of the year. Joe Whelan got knocked around big time in that first inning. Adam Lind with a high fly that cleared the wall. All part of a 5-run inning, and Carlos Gomez with a ground ball that's handled by Justin Turner, and that's how the bottom of the second begins.
Now it's important for the Brewers to add on. 5 runs, not enough against this Dodgers team. They can bang with the best of them. Can't be satisfied with 5.
Here's Gennett. Here's how that first inning went for the Brewers. 9 men hit, including Gennett with that 2-run homer. Homered 9 times a year ago. Does have some pop in his bat.
Gets the count in his favor like he did his last time up. He can knock one out of here. Gets one middle in.
The fly ball to right field. This will be routine for Ethier. Quickly 2 men out. So here's Ryan Braun. We talked about what he did 3 years ago against Joe Whelan. Rock, you were there. You know this is hard to do at Petco Park, but Braun just was wailing away.
Yeah, out there in the sandbox in right center. He put one down the line, and later on in the game, hit another one out there to right center. Then he tripled. Didn't come too far from a 4-home-run game in San Diego.
He drove in 6 in that ball game. It was April 30th, 2012. Whelan walked him in the first inning. And a count of 1-1 to Braun right now.
Last time up, in that game, he hit one right off the top of the right center field fence.
That has since come in a little bit.
Yeah, right.
That'll have Braun scooting back. 2 balls, 1 strike. Career start number 8 for Joe Whelan, his first as a Dodger. One of many working his way back from Tommy John surgery a couple of years ago. Broken bat comebacker. And this will be a quick second inning. So the Brewers with 5 runs in the first. They go down 1, 2, 3 in the second. It's 5-0 Milwaukee.
Brewers Chief Operating Officer Rick Schlesinger. And Rick, it's been a while since we've last spoken. A lot of changes in the organization this week. The announcement on Monday to hire Craig Counsell as the new manager.
Right. If you're scripting it, you don't want to change managers during the year. But the reality is we made the change, and I'm excited for Craig. I think he brings a lot of positives, and he's going to propel us, I think, to some really good baseball. I know a lot of fans. I've gotten a lot of emails. Our fans are very excited, and you know what? We pay attention. And again, you don't want to make the change during the season, but if you have to, Craig's an excellent choice.
He makes the debut in the middle of a 10-game homestand here. We're wrapping up the 5-county, 5-day. There's still time to take advantage of the deal.
Yep, tomorrow and Friday it's half-price tickets on most seats, and then Friday against the Cubs. So we need Wisconsin fans to come out in force against the Chicago Lights. Saturday and Sunday we're going to expect near sellouts. Some tickets available, but not a lot. So it's going to be a very busy, fun weekend, and let's take 2 or 3 or 3 or 3 against the Cubs.
Sounds like a good game plan there, Rick. And again, Sunday will be Bobble Hank for Mother's Day. So take your mom out, get your Bobble Hank, and we'll see you here at Miller Park on Sunday.
Wow. All right, Sophia, Rick, thank you very much. What a terrific effort by Gene Segura. The throw not quite in time. And A.J. Ellis is aboard.
Yeah,
wow.
This is something else right here. Just to be able to get a throw off. And he looks safe. A pretty good call over there by Andy Fletcher. The Brewers are stalling a little bit to see if the replay crew can take a look at it, see if they want to challenge. Don't think so. Boy, that was a heck of a play by Gene Segura. Wow.
Boy, he made one in Chicago where he laid out onto the turf, bounced up. We've seen it with him, and almost turned in another one. But Ellis able to beat it out. Now Joe Whelan in a bunting situation.
Yeah, it seems like his throwing issues are behind him. Early in the season, he was having a difficult time with his throws to first. But once again, impeccable defense by Gene Segura. It's amazing how quickly Segura, when he's off balance like that, running away from first base, how he can collect himself and get off a good, strong throw to first.
Yeah, you're right. He does it right now.
Yes, he does. Gets rid of the ball quickly and almost stops on a dime in order to make a throw.
2 balls, 1 strike. He is fun to watch when he is in rhythm. Talking about Segura defensively, he gives you a lot of material to talk about.
And I think the fact that he's not 6'1", 6'2" helps him in that regard. Low center of gravity.
Run up along the line that Lind will go ahead and field and apply the tag. And the sacrifice is complete as Ellis moves to second.
I think it helps him most when he makes those diving plays. He grabs the baseball and gets up off the ground very quickly. I think because he's not real tall. And that helps him a lot.
Got some strength to him. Puts that arm on display, and again, it's going to go down as an infield hit, but it was just that close to being another great defensive play by Segura. Back to the top of the order, Jock Peterson. And this is popped up. Chance for Adam Lind in foul territory. 2 outs.
That's a break right there. Wow. And Peterson swings at one off the plate and an easy pop up to Lind in foul ground. I mean, nothing irritates a hitter more than that. First pitch, weak pop up.
Well, Peralta in the second inning got out of some trouble. First 2 Dodgers reached, but got a strikeout on a double play ground ball from Scott Van Slyke. A.J. Ellis with an infield hit. Whelan, a sac bunt, got into second, and now Peterson a foul pop. Here's Jimmy Rollins. Rollins hitting just 167, but last night homered for the 3rd time this season. A long time Philadelphia Philly. And there's a history of Rollins with home run power in that MVP year of 07. He homered 30 times and tripled 20.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good from both sides that have played. Homered last night as a right-handed hitter.
Breaking ball fouled out of play, and it's quickly 2 strikes and nothing. As Rock said, this 5-0 lead is great, but The Dodgers have an ability to score in bunches. We'll see if Peralta can get out of this here with a runner in scoring position and 2 men out. Here's a 2-strike pitch. Bringing it at 97. Jim Peralta's losing streak, personal losing streak, has matched a career high. But last year, when the calendar turned, his 4-game skid last year was in May, and then in June he won all 5 of his decisions. Big factor in a 17-win year for the 25-year-old right-hander. It's the Brewers' most valuable pitcher a year ago.
And in all honesty, pitching pretty well this year, except for one start. No reason why he should be 0-4.
Yeah, the Reds banged him around pretty good. And there's Adam Lind with the pick. And the feed to Peralta. And again, the Dodgers are denied after 2.5 at Miller Park. It's 5-0 the Brewers. Damage in the first inning here tonight. Take a look at our DraftKings players to watch for this evening. Adam Lind already has gone deep tonight. Adrian Gonzalez tied for the top of the lead in home runs of the National League. And you see the work of Michael Brantley and Matt Carpenter as well. What they have done in case of Brantley, the last 11, and Carpenter, period, so far this season.
20 RBIs for Matt Carpenter. He's a leadoff hitter.
Yeah, not bad. Cardinals are on an 8-game winning streak, by the way, and sitting at 20-6. Best record in baseball. Dodgers at 17-9. That's second best in the National League. Lind with a ground ball that Gonzalez gobbles up. He's out number 1.
Hey, this Sunday is Mother's Day, and all fans at Miller Park for the Brewers finale against the Chicago Cubs will get a collectible Mother's Day bobble hank. That's courtesy of Pick and Save. Call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com to reserve your spot today and get a bobblehead of Hank, the ballpark pup.
And hustle up with those tickets. Heard from Rick Schlesinger last inning. Going to have big crowds this weekend with the Cubs in town.
Hank making an appearance, I'd imagine, right, on his bobblehead day?
I hope so. I hope so. Big day. Aramis Ramirez with a ground ball to Rollins. 2 men out. Cubs, by the way, are in second. The Cardinals, with this great start that they've had, lead the pack by 6.5. Cubs are 13-12 and losers of 4 straight. So we continue that series in St. Louis tonight. Cubs and Cardinals. Chris Davis walked to the first inning. Joe Whelan's showing some signs that he is settling in after getting roughed up in the first to the tune of 5 runs.
Yeah, 4 ground ball outs the last 5 outs. So yeah, that's what he does.
Quickly 0-2 to Davis. Brewers sent 9 men to the plate in the first inning. And Davis goes down swinging. That's 7 straight now that Whelan has retired. We're through 3, 5-0. Home team.
Miller Park as we head to the top of the 4th, and Fox Sports supports the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Milwaukee. We have been celebrating them here at Miller Park tonight, and I'm joined by a few of the members of the Boys and Girls Club. And Jesse, we'll start with you. You are one of the 8 members of the Youth of the Year program, so can you tell me a little bit about that program?
Well, the Youth of the Years of America recipients is the highest achievement award a youth can be awarded with. The award goes to youth who excel in and out of school and give back to the community, as well as open up opportunities with like family and the clubs. They volunteer a lot, they help out, and pretty much do their best that they can whenever and whoever's watching.
And Bree, you're also in the Youth of the Year program as a representative. Tell me about your involvement in the program and how much you enjoy being a member at Boys and Girls Clubs.
I actually enjoy being a member of the Boys and Girls Club. I was actually the runner-up for the Youth of the Year. So the Boys and Girls Club give us a lot of opportunities inside and outside the club. Like, we get to be involved in as many activities as we want, art club, any sports, and it's just a program that allows youth to be involved and not just like be at home bored or be out in the streets. And not only does it give us opportunities inside, what I mean by we're able to be positive role models to everyone in the community, to the younger kids, and they also give these scholarship opportunities and job opportunities. So it's just a great program that I think a lot of our youth should be involved in.
Congratulations to both of you for your involvement in that program. And Pilar, you're also a member here at Boys and Girls Club. For you, what are your favorite activities or what you most take away from being a member at the club?
My favorite activities at the club is Sister Pride, and the thing that I take away most from the club is to be successful. The club teaches us that you have to stay successful in order to be something well in your life, and you don't give up.
Well, thank you to all of you for joining us tonight. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the game. And Matt and Rock, we had Vincent Lyles, the president of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater America, on earlier tonight, and they certainly do a terrific job with all of the youth here in the local community.
Yeah, they really do. Thanks much, Sophia, and all the good folks at Boys and Girls Clubs, the great work they do. It's
hats
it's
off
good
to
to hear.
them.
Absolutely.
Hats off to those kids.
Yep.
They seem like they have a good opportunity with the Boys and Girls Club, and we thank them for it.
A 2-2 count to Adrian Gonzalez. And the right field on a line, and Braun will pull up and play it on a bounce. So Gonzalez, his second hit in as many at bats.
Tough to get that guy out, isn't it?
Yes, it is. His average, which was high to begin with, continues to climb. How about the first out of the inning? Howie Kendrick, the comebacker off the leg of Peralta, and Segura able to field it, and it turned into a 1-6-3. That was how Kendrick was retired. Gonzalez a base hit, and here's Justin Turner. He's been hard to get out too. He's last handful of games, 8 for his last 18. 4 for his last 5 in this series.
There's some big time batting averages up on that scoreboard for the Dodgers. Jimmy Rollins off to a slow start. A.J. Ellis, but everybody else swinging the bats pretty well.
Yeah, you're going from the 280s, 290s to the, well, in the case of Gonzalez, probably 370 or better. And Turner at the moment, 348. Here's the 1-0. Pours a fastball in there at 95. In that game the Brewers won with Peralta on the mound last August at Dodger Stadium. Brewers jumped to an early lead, got the bats going early, much like they did tonight. Led 7-0 after 4 innings and moved on to a 7-2 win. There's a bouncer to Jeanette at second. Flip to Segura, and knew he was able to make the catch long enough. Lost it on the transfer, so Gonzalez was forced at second. 2 men out.
I think he was a little bit off timing because Scooter didn't give him a firm enough throw to second base. This flip over here sailed a little bit. You see, got under it, a little bit too much air on it, and threw the timing off for Segura. I want to give him a little bit firmer of a flip over there. And because of that, I think it was a doomed double play.
Second game back for both. Of course, Segura, as a precaution, they held him out Monday night, but second game back off the DL for Scooter Jeanette after a rehab assignment with the Timber Rattlers. Slow roller over to short, and Segura throws it away, and Lynn's going to have to chase after it. The run's going to score.
Boy, I hate to see that. Boy, trying to make something out of nothing, and now you're better off just holding on to it. Another throwing error for Segura, and this time it cost the Brewers a run. I don't think even a good throw you're going to get him, so you hold on to it. Lynn couldn't keep it in front of him, and now Justin Turner able to score.
So that'll be a hit and an error for Andre Ethier. Error charge to Segura, and that gets the Dodgers on the board. A 5-1 game.
Yeah, Turner started at first base on that play. Went all the way around.
Yeah. Little tapper to short. That's one you probably just want to hang on to, but we've seen some spectacular plays by Segura. Maybe trying to make one that was not available to be made there. So here's Scott Van Slyke. Grounded into a 6-4-3 double play to take the Dodgers out of a threat in the second inning. First 2 hitters reached. Gonzalez and Turner, but Ethier struck out, and Van Slyke hit into the double play to win the inning.
Yeah, just those little things the Brewers have been doing, and this year, as opposed to the beginning of the year last year. The failed double play. The Brewers not able to turn 2. You make a mistake, and the opponent gets a run. And the Dodgers do a good enough job on their own scoring runs. You don't need to help them.
No, it's the last team, or among the last teams, you would think that would need help. A ball is strike to Scott Van Slyke. Dodgers second in the National League in runs. Mentioned they lead the league in home runs as well as walks. They can put runs on the board in a hurry. as the Brewers found out last night, is a game that had all the makings of a pitching duel. The Dodgers really got the bats going in the late stages of that game. In fact, all of their runs in the 8-run outing from the 6th inning on. Here's the 1-2. That is strike 3 caught, and that's a bat flip from Van Slyke that is not going to be appreciated by Jordan Baker, but the home plate umpire is going to give Van Slyke a little rope, it looks like.
Well, you're going to keep him in the game, but it's going to cost him $100.
Yep. 5-1 Brewers. Brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham. 1-800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. 5-1 Brewers here in the 4th inning, and Segura goes right to work in a base hit to right. Whelan had set down 7 straight. Joe Whelan, the Dodgers starter, but Segura begins the 4th with a knock.
Yeah, breaking ball, and Segura able to wait back and punch it into right field. Been doing a lot of that so far this year.
As you can see right there. There's Martin Maldonado, run scoring single. Part of a 5-run first for the Crew. Brewers sent 9 men to the plate in a not so warm greeting for the Dodgers starter Joe Whelan tonight, just up from a AAA club, Oklahoma City. It's his hope to hang around. Some stories written in the LA media. They've had some pitchers come up for an outing and then sent right back down. But Whelan, a couple of years removed from Tommy John surgery, trying to stick around for a while. In the first inning, it didn't look like he might stick around long tonight. But he has settled a bit, but the Brewers trying to get to him again here in the 4th.
Yeah, pitches are located a little bit better. He's getting some sink on his fastball, but the Brewers able to capitalize when he wasn't throwing the ball all that well. So good job by the Brewers offense early.
It'll pop up, and Whelan will grab it. Out number 1.
Hey, tonight's time of the game winner is bar time in Campbellsport. That's south of Fond du Lac. You know Campbellsport.
And a little clarification is good, though. It's all right.
That's where Jimmy Gantner was. Jimmy Gantner's high school around there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Campbellsport. Yeah, if they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. It's offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin, Miller Lite, and Jim Gantner.
Always love talking to him down before ball games. It's generally a basketball question that he'll ask right away.
He's a very philosophical guy.
He is.
You know, most people don't know that about Gumby.
It's very true. On both counts.
Right,
he's philosophical, and people don't know that.
Right,
yes.
right.
Willie Peralta trying to lay one down and fouls it off.
You know, a philosopher speaks, you got to think about it for a minute because you're not quite sure what they're talking about. Same with Jimmy. Just kidding, of course.
Of course.
That's his reputation. You know?
Yes.
He's not like that, really.
Yes. Oh, he's great. Always upbeat. Talking a little NBA playoffs by the batting cage earlier this afternoon. He follows his college hoops as well.
Yeah. Loves his Brewers, that's for sure.
Yes, he does. It's great to see him around here all the time. Miller Park. 0-1.
Jimmy comes out, hits fungos during batting practice, and mixes it up with the guys.
And they know what he has always meant to this organization, too. It's always fun to watch that, the interaction.
Yeah.
They know what he means. He's a popular Brewer and a real good one. 1-1 pitch. And again, an unsuccessful try at a bunt. Track in the Central, Reds lead the Pirates 3-0. They're in the 8th at PNC Park, and the Cubs lead the Cardinals 3-1 in the 4th. And St. Louis riding an 8-game winning streak. It's Lester and Lynn, the pitching matchup at Busch Stadium.
Joey Votto got tossed out.
Did he?
Bumping an umpire. Ooh, can't touch umpires.
Be expensive. There's Segura on the move, and the throw down to second. They got him. Gene Segura, who stole a base in the first, cut down here in the second. A.J. Ellis is really good at that. That's the 6th attempted base stealer that Ellis has caught.
Yeah, he's pretty good defensively. Check it out. He blocks it. Segura gets a pretty good jump, and look at the throw right on the money. And no chance for Segura.
2-2 pitch to Peralta upstairs. And the count full against him in the first inning. And here we go again. The payoff. Another good cut. You see something he likes, he will take a good hack.
One of these days, he's going to connect.
Again, the 3-2. That is ball 4. So he's unable to lay down a bunt. He's able to work Joe Whelan for a walk. It's the 3rd given up by the Dodgers pitcher.
3 walks, 2 strikeouts for Whelan. He's allowed 5 base hits. 5 of those hits, or 2 of those 5 hits, home runs.
Scooter Gennett and Adam Lind playing long ball in the first inning. Here's Carlos Gomez. Started that bottom half of the first with a single to right. And he's taking a good rip. Well, guys who are fun to watch in batting practice, he would be pretty high on that list.
Oh, yeah.
He just gets after it.
And swatting flies out there,
Yeah,
right?
He'll swat anything.
And some gnats, whatever it is. Get out of the way.
Trying to hit. Here's the 0-1. There he is. Better get out of his way, man.
Guarantee he got it, whatever it was. Or he'd have gotten after it again.
That's right. He would have kept swatting.
This has a different feel in batting practice with Gomez back.
It really does.
Doesn't it?
I mean, it's just if you're just wandering around, walking around, you're going to stop and you just want to watch him take his cuts.
Not only that, but walking around, high-fiving guys.
Oh yeah,
constantly talking.
Two and two to count to Gomez. Here's your Columbia St. Mary's worth another look. That right hand, I think Carlos was able to make contact with that bug.
We got to get that on Exmo.
Here's the 2-2 to right field. Andre Ethier, edge of the track. And that'll do it for the Brewers here in the fourth. We are through 4 with the Crew leading 5-1. Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Brewers lead the Dodgers 5-1. We move to the 5th inning here at Miller Park, and it's time for our Carsoup.com trivia question. Since 1986, who are the only 3 hitters in Major League Baseball to have at least 238 hits in a single season? Since '86, who are the only 3 hitters in the big leagues to have at least 238 hits in a single season? Not 240, not 230, 238. 8-9-1 here for the Dodgers. A scoring note, by the way, is the catcher A.J. Ellis leads off. Gene Segura was cut down at second. That will not go down as a caught stealing. A bunt attempt, pitch in the dirt, and it's a 2-6 put out. But it's not, at least for now, it is not a caught stealing.
Yeah, I'm going to have to ask about that one. I get it. It's not a stolen base. It was in the dirt. He wasn't running on the pitch.
Yeah.
It would have been a wild pitch, but not sure how you classify that in the scorebook. It's a 2-6, but
yeah,
seemed like it'd be a caught stealing because he was trying to steal.
Right. But not the case in the official book.
One thing you know about Tim O'Driscoll, the Brewers official scorer, he knows what he's doing.
He absolutely does.
He knows the scorebook front and back.
3-1 to A.J. Ellis. There's a bouncing ball to Ramirez. Routine. One away.
Hey, the Brewers, who knew their rivalry with the Windy City guys when the Chicago Cubs come to Miller Park this Friday through Sunday, followed by the White Sox Monday, May 11th through Wednesday, May 13th. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com.
Look forward to that, seeing both the Northsiders and the Southsiders.
White Sox off to a disappointing start.
Yeah, they have struggled.
They they revamped the whole team. They thought they were going to be a contender, but having a rough time of it. 9-14.
It's announced earlier today that Jeff Smarja has dropped his appeal. You go back to that rumble they had with the Royals a couple weeks ago, and he is going to serve his suspension, and he can return May 11th. That would be Monday. The White Sox are in town. Keep that in mind. Of course, Chris Sale, Carlos Rodon, very highly regarded pitcher. Former North Carolina State Wolfpack star.
Be good to see Hawk Harrelson here at the ballpark.
Yeah.
Hawk and Steve Stone.
2-2 pitch. And as Hawk would say, he gone. Joe Whelan. That's a really lame imitation, by the way. I apologize. I apologize.
Hey, you don't want to jump into his stick. You know,
No.
we understand. He gone.
I enjoy listening to him. Steve Stone. Try to grab some bench. He would have enjoyed this first inning. Couple of home runs for the Brewers. Here's Jock Peterson. What I love about this game, among the many things, are the various styles of broadcasting. You and BA are terrific. BA's back, by the way, the next Brewer road trip.
They're back in New York.
Yeah.
Finally get some time off, huh? We've been
It'll
busy.
be fun. Yeah, it'll be, yeah.
Football,
It'll be
basketball,
good.
baseball.
Yeah. Still working on this baseball thing, but it's fun, man.
Oh, you got it down.
Having a great time. Here's Jock Peterson with a fly ball back into center field. Carlos Gomez reaching out, can't get it. It is gone. Jock Peterson, his second home run of the series and his 8th of the year.
Yeah, they strike quickly. 2 outs, nobody on. Then you got to deal with the top of this order, and Peterson gets under one. Dodgers are loving it here at Miller Park. The third home run that they've hit that would not have been a home run at Dodger Stadium, but hey, play the surroundings. They're used to those being out.
Yes, they are.
Not here.
At the home park. That's out number 3. Here's Jimmy Rollins. Slap swung to Adam Lind at first, and that'll do it for the Dodgers in the 5th. And another run, and the Brewers' lead is 3 in Milwaukee.
by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. The Barrelman passing out treats here at the 5th inning. And on Monday, June 29th, Davey Nelson will again host his celebrity golf tournament in support of Brewers Community Foundation and Open Arms Home for Children, an organization located in South Africa which serves as an orphanage for children struggling to survive. Open Arms provides shelter, clothing, and basic health care for children, assuring them a better chance at life and the future. So you can join Davey and Friends at Whistling Straits for golf and fundraising. You can register for that event at www.brewers.com/Davey.
All right, a great event it is. Thanks much, Sophia. Scooter Gennett leading off the home half of the 5th. His first home run of the year. His first trip to the plate tonight, 2-run shot. Fly ball to right in the 2nd. All the Brewers runs coming in the 1st inning. Joe Whelan has settled into a pretty good rhythm here since.
Yeah, starting to get some pretty good sink, keeping the baseball down. Something he did not do at all in the 1st inning.
Gennett sharply hit, but Gonzalez is there. Scooter making some contact here tonight.
Yeah, nice to have a tall first baseman over there playing back behind the bag and able to lead and keep it in the glove. A little snow cone, but able to hold on. And look how far inside that pitch was, and Scooter able to pull the hands in and hit it hard.
Gonzalez has some gold gloves on his resume, 4 of them as a matter of fact. There's Ryan Braun. Curveball for strike 1. Braun walked, bounced back to the mound. Is the one Brewer who has had a good look at Joe Whelan, as we have talked about. Took him deep twice in San Diego 3 years ago.
Yep, one to right, one to left. Both of them hit a ton.
Ryan has 1 hit in this series. It was an important one, though. Didn't leave the infield, but it scored what proved to be the winning run on Monday night.
Yeah, that big time comeback against the Dodgers with Kershaw. Kershaw out of the game at that point, but not able to pick up a victory.
A broken bat, ground ball to 3rd that he was able to leg out. He's a bouncer over to 3rd, and that's Justin Turner. 2 men out here in the 5th. So since the 1st, when Whelan surrendered the 5 runs, he has allowed just 1 hit. Gene Segura also walked Peralta.
Yeah, 1 over the minimum since the 1st inning.
Making his Dodgers debut. Adam Lind homered in the 1st, 2-run shot. Sky high fly ball that cleared the wall in right. Curve evens the count. Whelan was moving through the minor league ranks. Had a big year 4 years ago. Going through single A and double A. Went 13-4 that year with a sub-2 ERA. Pretty highly regarded. So the arm went south. Lind down the line and left, and that's a fair ball. And Adam Lind on his way to 2nd with a double.
Yeah, take about 100 of those in a season. Yeah, a little flare down the left field line on a pitch up and in. Actually leaked it out over the plate a little bit, but Lind stays on it nicely and able to keep it inside that left field line. Good piece of hitting by Lind, and Brewers get themselves a 2-out double.
Adam Lind in the top 5 in doubles in the National League. Gets him into double digits this season.
Well, A.J. Ellis going out to talk to Whelan, probably discussing whether they want to be aggressive with Aramis Ramirez. We got Davis on deck, Chris Davis, who's been in a bit of a slide as of late.
Sergio Santos getting loose in the LA bullpen.
The advantage of this Dodgers bullpen of having Kershaw and Greinke start the first 2 games.
Keeps those arms fresh. Well, they had to go deep into their bullpen on Sunday in their final game of the homestand against Arizona. That was a 13-inning game. And they have needed the bullpen in the first 2 games, but in the later stages, they're going to go ahead and walk Ramirez and take their chances with Chris Davis, who's trying to snap out of what is at the moment an 0-for-16 stretch.
Yeah, nothing burns a hitter more than something like this. Walking Ramirez. Davis, you know, is going to like to be able to get it done here.
This is when you start thinking about what Craig Counsell was talking about yesterday with reporters before the game. A player like Davis, and in his brief career, Brewer fans have seen it. When the left fielder gets hot, he can carry you for a while.
Yeah.
So maybe a moment like this sets the stage for Davis to turn things back around in his favor.
What he needs to do is go back to what he was doing in the first 2 weeks. Driving everything in the right field and up the middle.
Two runners on for Davis, and here comes Don Mattingly. A slow walk to the Miller Park mound.
Yeah, that's a walk that means I have the hook in my hand here.
I'm taking you back with me.
82 pitches. This is a big point of the ball game right here. If Brewers are able to cash in, that'd be nice to get that momentum back.
This is the I'm stalling for time. What do you think I should do here? See if he goes ahead and
managers actually do ask that once in a while, just to get buy themselves a little bit more time.
Hey Jordan, if you were me, what would you do? I'd call for the right-hander.
Yeah, like we didn't know that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Joe Whelan, after the first inning, turned in some pretty decent work. And Mattingly will make the pitching change here in Milwaukee. Brewers a chance to extend a 3-run lead. Two-thirds responsible just for the 5 runs he's allowed, but the runners at first and second. Brewers lead 5-2. Don Mattingly goes to his bullpen and brings in Sergio Santos.
The 5th game for Santos, who started the year in AAA Oklahoma City in the PCL. Good numbers down there. He spent some time in the American League with the Blue Jays. So Santos on here in the 5th inning. Short outing for Whelan tonight.
6 hits. So far, the 5 runs. So here's Chris Davis with Lind at second, Ramirez at first. A big chance here for Davis. Snap out of this little hitting skid that he's in and extend that Brewers lead. They scored the first 5 runs of the game. Dodgers trying to chip away single runs in the 4th and 5th. Santos, originally drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks, first-round selection back in 2002. Rock said he was with the Blue Jays for 3 seasons, with the White Sox before that. Here's the 1-0.
Average fastball. He's got a slider to go with it. Throw a changeup once in a while, but Chris Davis in the driver's sheet now. 2-0 count.
Looking for a big fat one right here. See if he can get one in his wheelhouse. The 2-0.
Yeah, good patience right there. When you get a 2-0 count in this situation, you've been struggling, and sometimes hitters go after those. Laid off of it.
He's taken 9 walks. That is second most on this Brewers team. The 3-0. And that is a 4-pitch walk. Bases are loaded for Gene Segura.
The 5th walk now issued by the Dodgers.
Joe Whelan giving way, and now Santos up against it. He's at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Fielder's choice in the 1st inning. Single in the 4th. Bases loaded for him right now. Great chance to extend this lead, which is at 3 at the moment. A strike to Segura. Came into the game 8 for 19 with runners in scoring position. They're loaded now. Sergio Santos on in relief of Joe Whelan here in the 5th. Quickly 0-2. Good Segura like that.
Right at the bottom of the zone.
So after walking Davis, Santos has jumped ahead 2 strikes and nothing to Segura. There's 10 RBIs on the season. Chance for a couple of more at least right here. First base umpire Andy Fletcher. Segura held up.
Yeah, pretty close to going through. Just able to hold up.
.284 average for Segura. Had a good first month at the plate. The 1-2.
Yeah, you figure he's going to get something to hit here. Santos doesn't want to go full count. Runners get a head start.
Ready with the 2-2 pitch. Shoots it to right, and that will carry into the seats. So we'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There you go. Nicely done. A Brewer fan flips to a Dodger fan. Gives it to the young lady there. Well done. And Santos will step off. He and A.J. Ellis trying to get on the same page here. Big pitch coming up. And the count is full, so the runner's on the move. There's Martin Maldonado waiting on deck.
Hasn't been able to throw the slider for a strike yet. Well, let's see if he gives him the fastball.
A stir here at Miller Park. Santos versus Segura. Here comes the 3-2. That's in the dirt. Segura holds up, and a run will score. Bases loaded, walk, and it's 6-2.
That's a good job by Segura. He fell behind 0-2 very quickly. A couple of fastballs by Santos. That was the best one that he had to hit, right at the bottom of the strike zone. And then Segura's on with the battle. He checked his swing on a slider, another slider down in the zone, and a couple of fastballs, and Segura able to lay off this 3-2 pitch coming up. That was a slider. Santos not able to throw any sliders for strikes.
Bases remain loaded for Maldonado. Sharply hit. Stabbed by Turner. Good play. The throw is wide, and Gonzalez off the bag. Another run scores. Bases remain loaded.
Talk about nonchalant by Justin Turner right there. He had plenty of time to set himself and make a good throw. Check it out. Gets up. Doesn't remember that the catcher's running. And it drops the arm and off the mark. And Maldonado able to beat the throw and beat the tag by Gonzalez. So another run in.
So they get a run on a bases loaded walk and another on an error to the third baseman. And Don Mattingly, they want to challenge this here. In fact, they are.
Does he have the bag when after he takes his foot off the bag? Mattingly thinking right here when he catches the baseball, is his foot on the bag? No, it's not. Doesn't look like it's pretty close.
Yeah, again, the call was safe, and
that's not what he's looking at. They're not looking at whether he tagged the bag after Maldonado was over there, but it was before this actually.
Yeah, I think you're right. Originally, I don't think there's going to be enough there that showed that Gonzalez was able to hold the bag there.
Right. He dove for the baseball. Mattingly saying that he kept his toe on the bag just long enough to get the out, but I don't think so. There's not enough there to overturn it, but we'll see.
7-2 at the moment.
Well, you don't blame Don Mattingly for trying, because that's big. I mean, 2 outs, back to a 5-run lead in the 5th. If they do overrule it, that's a big momentum swing there.
And they're giving this a good look over the replay headquarters. There's a nice pick on the ground ball by Turner, but the throw wide of the bag. And
well, again, it's all about whether Gonzalez has the foot on the bag when he first went down on the ground and caught the baseball. It's pretty close. Question is there enough to overturn it?
Yeah, this one's taking a little time.
Right here. I mean, does he have his foot on the bag right there? Does he have his foot on the bag? I don't know. That's what Don Mattingly's asking.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a pretty good effort by Gonzalez right there.
Yeah, it was.
Well, we'll see what they decide.
Yeah, this one is taking some time. As the Dodgers challenging here, if it stands, the Brewers will have a 5-run lead. Bases still loaded. And Willie Peralta will be at the plate.
Oh, it's so close. I mean, whether it might have had a cleat barely on the corner of the bag. But it's a big call. They're taking a lot of time.
Well, we're about to find out, and they're going to call him out. They say he did hold the bag. So take that back. Jeez. So take the run off the board. 5-3 on the putout. 6-2 Milwaukee. But are denied a second run, an overturned call at first. 6-2 the score. The Brewers lead the Dodgers. At our Carsoup.com trivia question a while ago, since 1986, who are the only 3 hitters in the big leagues to have at least 238 hits in a single season? Well, you're looking at one, and Don Mattingly, Darren Erstad, and Ichiro multiple times.
Yeah, Don Mattingly could hit, flat out hit. He was one of the best. He turned into a pretty good manager. Remember last year this time, there was some talk about the Dodgers firing Mattingly as a manager that turned things around quickly, made it to the postseason, and now one of the best teams in baseball.
Yeah, won 94 games last year. That year back in '86, we'll get to it in a moment. Here's Howie Kendrick leads things off against Willie Peralta. Pours in a strike. So an overturned call. Maldonado originally ruled safe on a wide throw from Justin Turner, but take away the error, take away the run. His replay review showing enough evidence that Adrian Gonzalez was able to keep his foot on the bag as he made the catch. Close, but
real close. Yeah, sometimes we up here look at things a little bit differently than the guys that are supposed to be a little bit more objective.
Yeah, and our Brewer glasses on.
It's okay. It's our job. But it couldn't get any closer than that. It was about 3 minutes it took.
It took a little while.
Yeah.
0-2 pitch. One hopper knocked down by Lind. He'll have time as he feeds Peralta. 1 out. Well, back to the trivia question. The year that Mattingly had an 86 with the 238 hits, he hit 352 that year. But that still wasn't enough to win the batting title. Wade Boggs was a few points ahead of him, 357. But Mattingly had 53 doubles that year.
Home run hitter.
Yeah. He was second in the MVP voting to Roger Clemens. He was a 300 hitter in his career, Donnie Baseball.
Yeah, but he one of the toughest outs in baseball back in those days.
Yeah.
Right up there with George Brett, those kind of guys. I mean, he could hit. He could hit the other way, hit for power. Started out as an outfielder and turned himself into a very good first baseman.
9 Gold Gloves in his career. And you're right. I think the respect for him as a manager is growing. Here's Adrian Gonzalez with a liner to left. Chris Davis has it tracked. 2 outs.
Hey, this Friday's another student night at Miller Park. All Friday home games, high school and college students can purchase $10 Terrace Reserved and $15 Lowe's bleacher tickets. Plus, enjoy a special $3 happy hour menu. For details, visit brewers.com/students.
Looking for big crowds this weekend with the Cubs in town. Brewers took 2 out of 3 from Chicago at Wrigley Field last weekend. Justin Turner enjoying a very good start to his 2015 season. Well, the Brewers with their 6 runs tonight, that matched the run support or lack thereof that Peralta had in his 4 losses, the 4 losing decisions. Brewers scored a total of 6 runs. Sharp 1-hopper to Segura. And a nice smooth 6th inning for Willie Peralta. Dodgers go down 1-2-3 and the Brewers maintain a 4-run lead. Six to 2. And tonight, Fox Sports Live gets caught up with a full night of NHL and NBA playoff action, plus highlights on tonight's MLB games. You can see Fox Sports Live tonight, 10 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. You'll see it simulcast right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Willie Peralta been strong on the mound tonight.
That was a nice inning.
Yeah, it was. Getting the Dodgers in order. Peralta will lead off the bottom of the 6th.
You get the Dodgers in order and you get the 3, 4, 5 hitters out in order after your team just put another run up for you.
Really, Peralta has had a couple of very good outings coming in, and swing hard in case you get a hold of one. Deep fly center field, and it is caught by Jock Peterson up against the wall.
Oh my
a
goodness.
spectacular catch.
Yeah, that's one of the best we've seen this year. Wow. All right, that was one heck of a catch out there in center field, but I knew Willie was going to get a hold of one at some point. But Jock Peterson making one of the best catches of the year. Check it out, playing shallow over toward right field. Willie gets under it. Peterson has time to get out there and makes a terrific catch up against the wall. Took a couple of looks at that wall and finally able to haul it in. Well, boy, that's nice.
Man, he's made a couple of them here early in this season for the Dodgers. And that's one you'll be seeing on the highlight shows.
What makes that catch so difficult for a visiting team, particularly a West Coast team that's not here all that much, and this is the first time Peterson's been at Miller Park. That wide warning track, those angles in center, makes it very difficult to get a read on where that wall actually is when you're going back.
Yeah, the wall, the lighting, it looked like he had trouble with it last night on a fly ball that he misplayed, but there was nothing misplayed there. Great catch by the young center fielder. 0-2 to Carlos Gomez. And he strikes out swinging.
He takes his eye off the baseball a couple of times before this, and just in front of the wall, able to make the catch and keep it in the glove. I think the Brewers pitchers thought that was out of the ballpark.
Jimmy Nelson and Mike Fire saying, come on, man.
Hit the weight room. Come on.
I'd smile too if I was Jock Peterson.
A couple more sets on the bench press, you would have hit it out.
That's right. Robbed of a double. Or, as he said, just a couple more reps and you get a home run. Here's Scooter Gennett. He homered for the first time this year in the first inning. Able to check it. 1 for 3 tonight. Fly to right in a liner that was snagged by Adrian Gonzalez. And a chance to get some at bats with the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. Telling some reporters he was liking how he was, especially that last game, felt like he was making good contact every plate appearance.
Yep, seeing a baseball, just trying to get his rhythm up there at the plate, get that stroke down.
A 1-2 pitch from Sergio Santos. Waved that, doesn't get it, but it's going to get by A.J. Ellis, so Gennett's on. He knew right now that got past the Dodgers catcher.
Man, breaking ball from Santos, and it's not even close. I think bounced in front of home plate. Just behind home plate a bit. Ellis can't keep it in front, and Scooter able to get into first base. A big play. Now you get Braun at the plate with 2 outs.
Ryan looking for his first hit, walked and scored in the first. Couple ground out since. Well hit, right field, a base hit. Gennett digs around second. He'll get to third. The Brewers have him at the corners.
It doesn't take much, right? Strikeout, wild pitch, and Ryan Braun able to hammer one into right field. His timeout. Ryan Braun going into second base.
Yes, sir. Caught him napping. Here's Adam Lind. What he did earlier tonight on Marshfield Clinic. Shining moment of the game. 2-run homer. His 5th of the year. High fly ball. And then down the line, he dumps it for a double. Adam Lind with a couple of hits and 3 trips.
That's some pretty heads-up base running by Ryan Braun. Nobody at second base. Nobody called timeout. He just kind of cruised on into second. Now 2 men in scoring position.
As Don Mattingly comes out, let's show you what happened.
He's just kind of creeping out there, thinking, is somebody going to know I'm going to be taken off? Jimmy Rollins has it, but Howie Kendrick nowhere near second base.
Look at those eyes darting, saying, is it there? Is it there? Yes, it is.
I love that. That's good base running. That's heads up, trying to take that extra base.
So after the first two were retired, the Brewers have something going, and the Dodgers need to make another pitching change. Adam Lind will be stepping to the plate. Really, Peralta began by getting robbed by Jock Peterson. Carlos Gomez struck out, as did Jeanette, but reached as the pitch bounced up there, got away from Ellis, and then Braun a single, and here's Paco Rodriguez on the mound.
He had 12th appearance and 135 earned run average for Rodriguez. 6'3", 220 pounds. Spent 2013, 2014 with the Dodgers. And had some pretty good numbers. Look at the opponent batting average at 136.
So the Brewers with an opportunity. Adam Lind, who has homered and doubled. Now he'll face the 24-year-old Paco Rodriguez, second-round pick back in 2012. Then we'll take ball one. Rodriguez not known as a hard thrower, but he is an effective one. It's the early stage of his career. It's part of that Dodger bullpen that until Monday night had quite the stretch of scoreless innings, 26 straight. Has done his part, but Lynn trying to get to him here. Sergio Santos, those runners are his responsibility. Let's see what Lynn can do. Here's a 2-0.
Yeah, left-handed hitters only 2 for 12 against Rodriguez. That's a 167 batting average. Right-handers even worse, 1 for 10.
So there you go. Go lefty-lefty. Edge Brewers on those splits. And Lind has worked him to a 3-1 count. Joe Whelan started for the Dodgers tonight, and the Brewers roughed him up to the tune of 5 runs in the first. Now Paco Rodriguez, the third pitcher tonight for LA. Lind looking for his third hit of the night. That is in there.
Throws a lot of those sliders, particularly to left-handed batters. You know what a pitcher has confidence in when he's down 3-1? He throws a slider. He's got a good one.
Full count. Rodriguez versus Adam Lind. In the air to left field. That's Scott Van Slyke near the line. And the threat comes up empty for the Brewers. We're through 6-2 Milwaukee. Your score. Brewers lead the Dodgers. Really, Peralta ready to go back to work here in inning number 7. See his pitch count in pretty good shape.
Another good start for Willie. Big difference though. The Brewers are able to put some runs on the board for him.
6 and missed an opportunity there in the bottom of the 6th. Couple runners on, but could not push him across. Andre Ethier leads things off. Struck out, reached on an infield single. Look at the Central. The Reds beat the Pirates tonight 3-0. Pittsburgh has been choppy, 12-15. They were going through a similar up and down beginning last year. And then as that second half of the season progressed, they got hot. There's a liner. Braun on the run, almost overran it, reaching back and makes the play.
That ball had a hook on it. Wow. Boy, Ether smoked that one. And Ryan playing deep out there, almost overran it, but able to haul it in. Look how deep he was out there, just had to go across. That second line drive that Ryan has caught tonight.
Here is Scott Van Slyke. And Slyke has hit into a double play and took a called third strike. And he's down 0-2 now. Peralta with the 0-2. Willie has struck out 5, has not walked a hitter. Two balls, 2 strikes. And Slight still hitting .317. Dodgers team 4th in the National League in team batting average. Here's the 2-2 pitch. A little chopper. Jeanette charging. Gotta hurry. Gets it there in time. 2 men out.
Hey, country star Joe Nichols is coming to Miller Park on Friday, May 29th. And with a country night VIP package, you can watch the Brewers take on the Diamondbacks from the Dew Deck. Plus, get field access for the post-game concert. For details, visit brewers.com/concerts. I'm in.
I know you're looking forward to that.
I'm sticking around.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Be a good show.
Yep.
Good night at the Yard. Here's A.J. Ellis. 1 for 2, infield single. Ground ball to third. First pitch swinging. Fly ball. Ryan Braun right there. Willie Peralta puts him down in order again. 7th inning stretch. Brewers 6, Dodgers 2. The Dodgers 6-2. Peralta turning in some good work. Let's take a look at the Powerball home run leaderboard. Adam Lind with his 5th tonight. That has him right there with Ryan Braun. Ramos Ramirez with 3, and they have come lately here in his last 11 games. Another change in the mound for the Dodgers as Juan Nicasio gets his turn.
Yeah, another guy with pretty good numbers running out of that Dodgers bullpen. 10th game for Nicasio and a 135 earned run average. More strikeouts than innings pitched and has not allowed a home run. Last pitched on Sunday against the Diamondbacks and put up 2 scoreless innings.
And he will face Aramis Ramirez, Chris Davis, and Gene Segura. Joe Whelan started out of the bullpen. They've used Sergio Santos and Paco Rodriguez, and now it's Juan Nicasio's turn. Ramirez has hit safely in 9 of his last 11 games. All 3 of those home runs coming in that stretch. He's hit .371 in that 11-game run. 0 for 2 tonight. Walked intentionally in the 5th. Nicasio, one of the several new faces this Dodgers club. Tried to retool that bullpen a little bit.
Yeah, he was with the Colorado Rockies since 2011, first year with LA.
Originally signed with the Rockies back in 06. Here's the 1-1. Brewers a 4-run lead. A couple of opportunities to put more on the board. Had one taken off the board on an overturned call at first, which had the original call stood. The Brewers would have 7 on the board. Replay review showing that Adrian Gonzalez was able to keep his foot on the bag. It was a wide throw from the third baseman Justin Turner, but after originally Maldonado being called safe, replay flipped it. The Brewers stranded runners at second and third in the 6th inning. Long story short, Peralta's pitched very well, but you're never that comfortable against this Dodgers offense. Ramirez, though, starts the 7th with a walk.
Another walk. Boy, Dodger pitchers have been walking hitters all night.
Here's number 7.
He walked 3 consecutive hitters in the 5th inning. Whelan walked 2 in the 1st.
And Davis, one of those who walked in the 5th. And Hector Gomez in the pinch run. So Davis still trying to get back on track. He's walked twice tonight and struck out. Keep an eye on Gomez, as he was a big part of that Brewer rally against Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers. First career home run against the Cy Young winner. And that bounces up there and gets by Ellis, so Gomez gets second. Takes a big turn, and he is there with the wild pitch.
Ellis has had some tough pitches to handle tonight. Pitches in the dirt that are not easy to block. Well, check it out. It's fastball. That's not even close. No way a catcher has enough time to be able to shift and try and block it. Not with a fastball. Breaking ball, yeah, not fastball. Well, now the job of Davis changes just a little bit. If you don't get a base hit, make sure you advance the base runner. Got to keep tacking on against this Dodgers club.
That's what you're talking about too with Davis, his ability in those opening couple of weeks of the season, maybe a bit beyond it, to either go back up the middle, go the other way. Has the 1 home run so far, but he is 0 for his last 16. So Hector Gomez at second as Nicasio works to Davis. Five in the 1st, 1 in the 5th for the Brewers. Dodgers getting their runs, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. Brew with 7 hits. The Brewers have stranded 7 so far. The 2-0. Fastball is in there. The 2-1 pitch coming. Waves at it.
Yeah, there's an example of what Chris is doing right now. He wasn't doing early in the season, pulling the head. Early in the season, staying right on it, waiting, and not swinging at pitches like that. Thinking about going to the opposite field.
Hector Gomez pinch running after Ramirez drew a walk. And now a full count to the Brewers left fielder. Segura on deck, followed by Maldonado. Team Teams split the first 2 games. Brewers a winner on Monday. The Dodgers took care of business last night. They'll wrap up the series tomorrow afternoon. Here's the payoff. To right field, and this will carry into the seats. So this battle will continue.
Yeah, Ocasio's got a good slider, but he hasn't been able to throw one for a strike. Yeah, you don't want to risk throwing it and walking yet another Brewers hitter.
Dodger pitching has surrendered 7 walks here in 6+ innings. Again, the 3-2 struck him out.
Good pitch to hit too.
Struggles continue for Chris Davis.
And just pulling ahead a little bit. And that one right down Main Street and comes up empty on it.
So 1 out. Gomez the runner at second. Hector Gomez. Here's Juan Nicasio. Now we'll work against Gene Segura. Segura has singled, has walked so far tonight. Bounced into a forced his first trip. And he is someone who has pretty consistently shown the ability to go the other way. Staying back and taking the ball to right field when the opportunity is there. Casio with the 0-1.
That Dodger outfield playing pretty deep except for Van Slyken left. You dump one in front of him. Got great speed at second base. You just get a sense that you need to continue to add on against this Dodger club. That's how good they've been offensively this year.
Especially with a home run power, 42, the most in the big leagues. Segura earlier tonight stole a base to give him 6 on the season. Brewers as a team have 9 stolen bases. Segura with 6 of them. The 2-1. .284 average now for Segura. Casio is ready. And down goes Segura. Back-to-back strikeouts from Juan Nicasio. 2 men out here in the 7th inning.
Yeah, that pitch out of the zone, up out of the strike zone. Segura chases it. And a rare strikeout for Gene.
Two outs with Hector Gomez, the runner at second. It's only the 12th time that Segura has struck out. That was his 103rd at bat. One of the toughest in the league to punch out. Martin Maldonado. And Juan Nicasio, after walking Ramirez to start the inning, he's getting things back in order.
Yeah, walk, wild pitch, man at second, nobody out. He's still standing there at second.
Able to get strikeouts of Chris Davis and Gene Segura. And now 0-1 to Martin Maldonado. Run scoring single from Maldonado in the first. There's a check swing and a heads up in the crowd. 2 strikes and nothing to the Brewers catcher. A chance here for the Crew with a runner in scoring position. Brewers 1 for 5 in those situations so far tonight. Ocasio's ready with a 2-strike pitch. Buzzes one upstairs. Well, the average is low for Maldonado, but the work behind the plate has been very good.
Well, he's got a lot of it, too. Since Lucroy went on the disabled list, all but one.
He's put that strong arm on display multiple times these last couple of weeks. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That is about as max effort of delivery as you're going to see. I mean, he just falls off the mound and he just lets it fly out there.
Kind of airing it out, you might say.
You can do that out of the bullpen, you know, maybe an inning plus. Let it all hang out.
What makes scoring so difficult, among other things. And you can go to your bullpen and be bringing in these guys who bring it mid-90s. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mid-90s and above if you look across baseball, obviously.
More of those guys these days than not, right?
Yeah.
Especially coming out of the pen.
And you get your 6 out of your starter. If you get more, even better. But if your bullpen is where you want it to be, you've got all kinds of options.
Especially when you have 9 down there.
As the case is with the Dodgers. 3-2 pitch coming to Martin Maldonado. He struck him out swinging, so a leadoff walk, a wild pitch, and then strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. Brewers still lead by 4. Two over the Dodgers. Take a look at what's on tap, presented by Miller Lite. Carlos Frias on the mound tomorrow for the Dodgers, and Mike Fiers for the Crew. They no television tomorrow, but you're here. First pitch at 12:40. Otherwise, listen to Bob and Joe. Brewers Radio, Hector Gomez. He pinch ran for Aramis Ramirez, stays in the game, and he'll be working over at the hot corner as Willie Peralta gets set for inning number 8.
Yeah, somehow you got to figure, to convince Mike Fiers he's at Wrigley Field tomorrow. Outstanding effort against the Cubs. 6 innings, 12 punch-outs.
Yeah, that was lights out work.
Allowed only 1 run.
Brewers won that game 6-1. Yeah, he's all about the punch-outs at Wrigley Field. That category in consecutive games, he and Sandy Koufax.
Yeah, right.
Juan Uribe will be pinch hitting. Comes off the bench tonight. Justin Turner swinging a hot bat. Similar story for Uribe, a 13-game hitting streak.
Willie doing a nice job with his pitch count tonight, huh? 89 pitches. Working here in the 8th.
Has yet to walk a hitter. He has struck out 5. Brewers jumped to a 5-0 lead in the first inning.
He's still throwing hard. That's the thing about Peralta. He's so strong. He's in such good shape. I mean, first inning to, pitch 100 and maybe even higher. He's going to be throwing at 95, 96. Doesn't seem to tire.
The 1-2 pitch. He worked 7 in a loss to the Reds on April 20th, as well as the Rockies in his first start of the year. Now trying to take it through the 8th inning if he can. Little tapper back to Peralta. There's out number 1. With the Uribe retired, let's take a look down on the farm, brought to you by Blaine's Farm and Fleet. And mentioned it last night. It's certainly worth repeating. Clint Coulter, the work that he did in the first month of the season, and player of the month for the Crew and for the organization. And Brooks Hall, the pitcher of the month. What he has turned in for the Shuckers in the month of April. But yeah. Coulter making the adjustment from catcher to outfield. It's going well.
And really developing well as a hitter. I mean, really coming into his own, starting to really get consistent with that bat. Yeah, some good work being done down in the minor leagues for the Brewers and their system.
Yeah, exciting young talent. Fun to track their development as they move up through the organization. Here's Jock Peterson. He's homered once, and he hits another deep fly to center field. Carlos Gomez trying to measure it, but there's nothing he can do but watch. Second home run of the night for Jock Peterson, and it's a 3-run game.
Yeah, tomahawks a high fastball this time, and that was a no-doubter to center. Carlos Gomez went back just to give it a look, and up off that batter's eye out in center field. He can handle a fastball away from him. Brewers have handled him pretty well with the breaking stuff. He's turned on that one and into center field, and another long ball for the Dodgers.
So Peterson has 2 homers and a terrific catch out in center, taking away extra bases from Willie Peralta. 9th home run of the year for Jock Peterson. 6-3 game now. Here's Rollins with a fly ball to left. No problem for Chris Davis. Out number 2. Well, we can see why, as Mark McGuire, the hitting coach, visits with Jock Peterson, why that Dodger organization is so high on him. He has struck out a lot to begin this season, but good work in center and pretty mean work at the plate. It's Howie Kendrick going after the first pitch.
The organization can stomach the strikeouts if the power goes along with it. It's the guys that don't hit for power and they punch out a lot. That's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah, the power definitely there. So he's right there with the league leaders in home runs. Right there with Adrian Gonzalez and Todd Frazier of Cincinnati.
Still throwing 96 miles an hour, Willie Peralta. Pitch number 100.
Trying to get through this 8th inning. His team ahead by 3. Here comes the 1-2. That is strike 3 swinging. So a Jock Peterson home run. Otherwise, Peralta sets him down, and the Brewers' lead is 3.
Over the Dodgers 6-3. You know, that conversation with Rick Rennis going very well. 8 strong innings, 2 earned runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts for Willie.
Yeah, he had to come in throwing the ball. We talked about early in the count, being aggressive, making good quality pitches. That's exactly what he does. When you see what he's done through the first 5 innings, besides the home run to Peterson, one recorded fly ball. That means Willie's keeping the ball down, keeping the ball on the ground, the way he does it best.
We'll continue to break down Willie's game. Brewers Live post-game coming up at the conclusion of this one. Also hear from Craig Counsell as well, and inside the clubhouse. Brewers Live again coming up, Matt.
All right, Craig, Augie, thank you very much. Elian Herrera pinch hitting for Peralta. Pops up, and Jimmy Rollins will squeeze him. And that's how the bottom of the 8th begins for the Crew. There's Rick talking with Willie Peralta. J.P. Howell now on the mound for the Dodgers.
Yeah, picked up that win that you see right there. He's 1-1. They picked up a win on Sunday against the Diamondbacks, a scoreless inning, gave up a couple of hits. Great numbers for J.P. Howell, one of 3 left-handers down in that pen.
Signed with the Dodgers a couple of years ago, December of 2013. Howell had a terrific defensive play in that game Sunday against the Diamondbacks as Gomez slaps a ground ball to Justin Turner. 2 men out. In that game, he bounced one up to Yasmani Grandal. It got away from him. The D-backs had a runner at third who broke for home. Grandal flipped to Howell, who applied what amounted to a no-look tag. Back to the runner, slapped the glove down, and got the play at the plate. That was a game the Dodgers won 1-0 on a Grandal walk-off. But they turned what looked like would be a wild pitch into a out at the plate. Here's Scooter Gennett. Jeanette homered for the first time this year. 2-run shot in the first. They got the Brewers on the board, and they have been ahead ever since. 5-run first inning. Home runs from Jeanette and Adam Lind. Run scoring single from Martin Maldonado. And there's Jonathan Broxton. And there's Francisco Rodriguez.
Yeah, Broxton, if the Brewers pick up another run, stays like this, it'll be Frankie.
Rodriguez has 5 saves and as many chances. Most recently Monday night in the win against the Dodgers. 2 outs with the bases empty. Pitch to Jeanette. Second game back for Scooter with the big club coming off the DL. Working against J.P. Howell. Here comes the 2-2. Howell originally drafted by the Royals. First round back in 2004. .32 years old, from Sacramento, California, went to the University of Texas. 2-2 pitch coming, and Jeanette does not get it. They'll have to complete the strikeout, and they do. So Howell puts him down in order. We go to the ninth with the Brewers leading the Dodgers 6-3. Six to 3. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. And it's K-Rod time at Miller Park.
Yeah, he's been perfect so far. Looking for save number 6. He's 5 for 5 and a 180 earned run average for K-Rod. Last pitched on Monday against these Dodgers and picked up that 5th save in a perfect 9th inning that included 2 strikeouts. Has been unscored upon in 8 of 10 appearances so far this year, including each of his last 5.
353 career saves, 4, 5, and 6 in the Dodgers order. Adrian Gonzalez leads things off. Figure if you have to face him to start the inning. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Gonzalez in the first 2 games of this series was walked 5 times, was hit by a pitch, and homered last night. 2-run shot.
Monday had a 1-run lead to work with, had a 3 up, 3 down, including 2 strikeouts. A little bit more breathing room tonight.
Yeah, Rodriguez was able to avoid Gonzalez. It was the top of the order in that game, and K-Rod setting him down avoided having to face Gonzalez with a runner or runners on base. Here's the 1-1. Carry out a play. Cubs lead the Cardinals 6-5, top of the 9th inning. Trying to snap that St. Louis winning streak, which is at 8 games. Reds shut out the Pirates 3-0 behind Mike Leake. Billy Peralta, good performance tonight. 8 innings, 7 hits, and 3 runs. K-Rod ready with a 1-2. Gonzalez came into the game 3rd in the National League in batting average and certainly hasn't hurt his cause. A couple of hits tonight, now at .370. Came in with the top slugging percentage in the league at .742. Sharply hit, and that is a fair ball down the line. And it takes a bad hop off the sideboard, or a bounce off the sideboard, but it will be a double, and that's it for Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, went down and got that changeup from K-Rod. K-Rod missed with the first one. Just such a good hitter. Just stays back, able to keep that bat in the hitting zone and tucks it inside that right field line. So K-Rod in trouble here in the 9th, but he's got some runs to work with tonight.
At least in this case, leading off the inning, he's at the plate with the bases empty. So here's Justin Turner, who's been swinging a hot bat in this series and of late for the Dodgers. He has a hit in 3 trips tonight. Scored a run in the 4th.
Yeah, Turner with a 3-run homer last night.
That was the big blow off Matt Garza. Dodgers had a big 6th and an even bigger 7th. And home runs from Rollins and Gonzalez. Turner started last night, back in there tonight. Rodriguez ready with a 1-0.
Trying to keep the ball away from Turner. He likes the ball up in the strike zone. Garza gave him a high fastball last night, knocked it out of the ballpark.
Rodriguez trying to make it 6 saves and as many chances. He had 44 a year ago. 1-1. A 5-run first. A big inning for Milwaukee tonight. Now Rodriguez trying to make that hold up, protect this 3-run lead. And he strikes out Turner. That is out number 1.
Yeah, that's that changeup. I mean, a lot of hitters swing and miss at that. You saw Gonzalez take it, and then K-Rod threw him one up in the zone, and he doubled, but he gets a lot of strikeouts on that changeup out of the zone. And there's a big one right now for the Brewers.
1 out with Gonzalez, the runner at second. Now he'll face Andre Ethier. Infield single in the 4th. He is 1 for 3. First pitch swinging. Fouls it off. Brewers trying to get the second game out of 3. They'll finish the series tomorrow afternoon here at Miller Park. Mark fires Carlos Frias the matchup, and then the Cubs are in town. Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. Here's the 0-1.
Staying in on the hands of Ethier. 2 fastballs right where he wanted them.
Ethier has homered 4 times this season. He has driven in 9.
Now what do you think he's going to get?
Let's see if he'll go chase one on the change coming up here. Here's the 0-2. There it is, and a fly ball hit into left field. Chris Davis, lots of room, and the Brewers are 1 out away. So now Scott Van Slyke stands in the way of Rodriguez being able to finish this one off. Brewers started in a big way and trying to finish it up. Miller Park crowd appreciating the efforts of the home team here tonight. Pitch to Van Slyke. Rounded into a double play in the second inning. Took a called 3rd strike in the 4th. Rounded to Jeanette in the 7th. The 1-0. Brewers closing in on win number 9. A 3-game streak snapped yesterday and looking to start another little run here tonight if they can. It's the 1-1. Now a strike away. And that will do it. Rodriguez closes it out again as the Brewers make it 2 out of 3. Series finale coming up tomorrow afternoon. Big first inning. Scooter Jeanette, a 2-run homer. Francisco Rodriguez finishes what Willie Peralta started.
Yeah, back-to-back very good starts for Willie, and finally got some runs. 6 runs tonight for Peralta, matching the total that the Brewers gave him in each of his 4 losses this year. So a good night at the ballpark. Offense, defense, and pitching very good here.
Final score, Brewers 6, Dodgers 3. Time now for Brewers Live postgame. Let's send it down to Craig and Augie.
Good to see some smiles back on the Brewer faces. So far so good in this series against the Dodgers. Going to make it 3-4 tomorrow. We'll look ahead at that here from Craig Counsell and Willie Peralta. All coming up next on Brewers Live postgame.